shadows, building one on top of the other until they form a weight too heavy to carry. The truth is relentless, and no matter how carefully you hide it, it has a way of clawing its way to the surface. This reality is brutal because lies often reward you in the short term. They buy you time, save you from embarrassment, protect your reputation, or get you what you want. But with each lie, you create cracks in the foundation of your life. Trust erodes, anxiety grows, you live with the constant fear of being exposed, and that fear eats away at your peace. The longer the lie lives, the sharper its teeth become. When it finally catches you, and it always does, the destruction is far worse than if you had faced the truth from the beginning. What makes this lesson sting is that it doesn't only apply to the lies you tell others, it applies to the ones you tell yourself. The excuses, the justifications, the denial of your own flaws. Sooner or later, reality confronts you. You can't run forever. And when it does, the pain of self-deception cuts deeper than any judgment from others. Lies may offer comfort, but it is a comfort laced with poison. The truth may hurt in the moment, but the lie destroys in the end. And no matter how fast you run, it will always catch up. Ignorance is expensive. What you don't know will cost you. Sometimes in money, sometimes in time, sometimes in opportunities you'll never get back. Ignorance may feel harmless because you can't see the damage right away, but its price always finds you. The contract you didn't read drains your savings. The health symptoms you ignored spiral into catastrophe. The financial lesson you refuse to learn leaves you trapped in debt. The world punishes ignorance without mercy, because reality doesn't care whether you understood the rules. You pay the cost either way. This truth is brutal because ignorance often masquerades as comfort. It feels easier not to know, to avoid the hard truths, to close your eyes to the things that scare you. But every blind spot becomes a trap. Every refusal to learn becomes a weight. And by the time you finally see the consequences, the price has already multiplied. The law doesn't excuse you for not knowing it. Your body doesn't forgive you for not understanding it. The market doesn't pause for you to catch up. The sting comes when you realize ignorance isn't neutral. It's a debt-building interest in the background of your life. And the longer you avoid paying attention, the heavier the payment will be when it comes due. Knowledge requires effort, humility, and sometimes pain. But ignorance demands far more, because the world always collects what you owe. And those who refuse to learn are always the ones who lose the most. You can outgrow people you thought were forever. One of the most heartbreaking truths in life is that you can outgrow people you once believed would be by your side forever. Friends you swore would stand at your wedding, partners you imagined building a lifetime with, even family members you thought you could never drift from. All can become strangers as you grow, change, and evolve. The bond that once felt unshakable can wither, not always from betrayal or anger, but simply because life pulls you in different directions. The pain lies in how natural it feels at first. You laugh together, you share secrets, you survive storms side by side, and it seems impossible that anything could ever separate you. But slowly, without warning, the conversations thin. Their world no longer matches yours, their values no longer align, and what once connected you begins to feel like distance. You keep trying to hold on, hoping the pieces will fit again, but the truth is, they don't. And letting go feels like ripping out a part of yourself. This lesson stings because it attacks one of our deepest desires, that some people are permanent, that forever is real. But growth demands change, and not everyone grows at the same pace. Some will stay behind, some will take different paths, and some will no longer fit the version of you that emerges. Outgrowing someone doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means the bond no longer serves the person you're becoming. The cruel truth is that forever is often temporary, and the people you once couldn't imagine life without can end up being just memories you carry. Not everyone matures at the same pace. One of the most painful truths you'll face is realizing that people do not grow together. Some evolve quickly, shedding old habits, chasing growth, and stepping into responsibility, while others cling to immaturity, living as though time has no consequences. Not everyone matures at the same pace, and this disparity can tear relationships apart. You might find yourself outgrowing friends who once felt inseparable, no longer entertained by the same jokes, no longer satisfied by the same reckless patterns. You might watch people you love sabotage themselves, stuck in cycles you've already left behind. This truth hurts because it forces you to accept that effort, love, and loyalty cannot accelerate someone else's growth. You can beg them to see, to change, to catch up to the version of life you're reaching for, but maturity cannot be borrowed. It must be chosen, and many never choose it. Some stay trapped in adolescence long into adulthood, chasing thrills instead of building futures, blaming others instead of taking responsibility, waiting for life to fix itself instead of stepping up. The emotional sting comes when you realize you can't hold on to everyone. You can't force growth on those who aren't ready. And if you try to slow yourself down for their sake, you end up shrinking. You either keep climbing or you stay stuck with them, and neither choice is without pain. What makes this so brutal is the inevitability. You will outgrow people you never thought you would, not because you stopped loving them, but because life pulled you onto separate timelines. Some will catch up eventually, some never will. Arrogance destroys more than ignorance. Ignorance is dangerous, but arrogance is lethal. Ignorance means not knowing, something that can be corrected with learning, humility, and experience. But arrogance is worse. It is the belief that you already know everything, that you are untouchable, that you have nothing left to learn. Arrogance slams the door on growth, blinds you to your flaws, and pushes away the very people who could guide you. It is not just a lack of knowledge, it is a refusal to even see the need for it. This truth stings because arrogance often grows out of success. The moment you achieve something, it whispers in your ear, "You did it, you're better, you're above them now." And in chasing that illusion, you become careless. You stop listening, you stop questioning, you stop evolving. Entire empires, careers, and relationships have been destroyed not by ignorance, but by arrogance, by the refusal to admit weakness, the denial of responsibility, the obsession with being right instead of being wise. Ignorance is forgivable. People understand mistakes born from not knowing. But arrogance poisons trust because it insults and diminishes others. Nobody wants to follow someone who sneers at them. Nobody wants to love someone who refuses to bend. And so arrogance isolates you, leaving you with nothing but your own hollow pride. The pain of this lesson lies in its mirror. You must ask yourself not just what you don't know, but where you've grown blind with ego. Because arrogance doesn't just stop your growth. It burns down everything you've built. And by the time you realize it, the ashes are all that remain. Being busy isn't the same as being productive. Busyness is a seductive lie. It makes you feel important, accomplished, even superior, as if the sheer weight of your packed schedule is proof of your value. But the harsh truth is that being busy isn't the same as being productive. You can spend your entire day running from one task to another, exhausted by nightfall, and still be no closer to the life you want. Activity does not equal progress. Motion is not the same as movement forward. This truth stings because busyness disguises itself as success. You tell yourself you're working hard, you're grinding, you're sacrificing, but deep down you know much of what you're doing is noise. Endless meetings, shallow tasks, distractions dressed up as obligations. They drain your energy, consume your time, and leave you with nothing of real value to show for it. Productivity, on the other hand, demands focus. It forces you to choose what truly matters and cut away everything else. And that is terrifying because it requires discipline, clarity, and the courage to say no. The emotional blow comes when you realize how much of your life you've wasted confusing busyness for progress, years lost chasing to-do lists instead of dreams, countless days spent maintaining rather than building. The people who get ahead are not the busiest, they are the most effective. The world doesn't reward exhaustion, it rewards results. And if you keep drowning in busyness without direction, you'll wake up one day and realize you worked yourself to death without ever actually living. A good name takes years to build and seconds to ruin. Reputation is one of the most delicate assets you will ever own, and its fragility is merciless. You can spend years, even decades, crafting a name that stands for integrity, loyalty, and trust, and in just one reckless moment, it can all come crashing down. One mistake, one bad decision, one careless slip is enough to stain what you've built, because people rarely measure you by the full story. They remember the cracks. It doesn't matter how long you've been consistent, the world clings to your failures far more tightly than your successes. The brutality of this truth lies in how unforgiving people are. They don't see the countless sacrifices it took to build your reputation, the nights you stayed disciplined, the times you bit your tongue, the moments you chose the harder road. All of it can be eclipsed by one rumor, one headline, one betrayal of your own values, and once suspicion settles in, it never fully leaves. Trust, once broken, is like shattered glass. No matter how carefully you try to piece it back together, the cracks remain visible. This reality hurts because it demands constant vigilance. You cannot afford to be careless with your character because your name follows you everywhere, into rooms you've never walked, into conversations you'll never hear. And while it can take a lifetime to earn respect, it takes only seconds to lose it. The weight of that responsibility is heavy, but it is also unescapable. Your good name is your shadow, fragile and precious, and once it's ruined, it rarely ever returns to what it was. The world doesn't pause for your pain. When tragedy strikes, when heartbreak rips through your chest, when grief leaves you unable to breathe, it feels impossible that life could simply go on. Yet it does. The world doesn't stop because you're hurting. The sun rises, traffic fills the streets, deadlines approach. People laugh, argue, shop, and scroll, unaware of the storm tearing you apart inside. Your pain feels monumental to you, but to the world, it's just another unseen fracture among billions. And that is one of the cruelest truths of existence. Your suffering will never slow down the clock. This realization can feel like betrayal. You want the world to notice, to pause with you, to recognize that something sacred has shattered. But instead, everything keeps moving, indifferent to your brokenness. Bills still demand payment, work still demands performance, responsibilities still pile up, merciless and unmoved by the weight on your chest. Life refuses to wait for you to heal. The brutality of this truth is in how isolating it feels. You're screaming inside while the world hums along as if nothing has happened. And yet, within this cruelty lies a lesson. You cannot afford to wait for the world to accommodate your wounds. You must learn to move forward while carrying them, to keep walking even when it feels impossible, to find a way to stitch yourself together while everything around you races on. The world doesn't pause for your pain because it can't. And as merciless as that feels, it forces you to rise, to adapt, and to find strength you never knew you had, just to keep moving with it. You can't fix people who don't want to change. One of the most heartbreaking truths in life is realizing that no matter how much you love someone, no matter how much you pour into them, you cannot fix a person who does not want to change. You can offer guidance, support, forgiveness, and second chances until you are empty, but if they are not willing to confront themselves, your efforts will always collapse. Change cannot be forced from the outside. It has to be chosen from within. This truth hurts so deeply because it collides with our hope. We want to believe our love can save them, that our patience can soften them, that our sacrifices will inspire them to become better. But people do not transform because you want them to. They transform only when the pain of staying the same becomes heavier than the fear of changing. Until they reach that point, your efforts are nothing more than bandages on wounds they refuse to heal. The sting is realizing how much of yourself you can lose trying to fix someone else. You sacrifice your peace, your time, your dreams, all in the name of holding them together, only to find they were never willing to stand on their own. Love becomes a cage, and your compassion becomes the very thing draining you. The brutal freedom comes when you accept this truth. You are responsible for your growth, and they are responsible for theirs. You cannot carry someone across a finish line they refuse to run toward, and if they don't want to change, no amount of love, patience, or sacrifice will ever be enough. Laziness costs more than effort. Laziness feels cheap in the moment. Skipping the workout saves energy. Ignoring the project spares stress. Putting things off gives you the fleeting comfort of rest. But what feels like a small savings always becomes a massive debt. The brutal truth is that laziness costs far more than effort ever will. Every time you avoid the grind, the price compounds in silence until it becomes unbearable. The sting of this truth reveals itself in regret. The body you neglected demands payment with pain, weakness, and sickness. The opportunities you ignored vanish forever, leaving you with nothing but the memory of what could have been. The dreams you delayed rot into fantasies, and the comfort you clung to hardens into chains. What once felt like a harmless choice becomes a lifetime of consequences. Effort is painful, yes. Work is uncomfortable, discipline is exhausting, and sacrifice stings. But effort pays forward. It builds strength, creates opportunities, and plants seeds that grow. Laziness pays backward. It steals tomorrow's freedom for today's ease. And the cruelest part is that by the time you realize the cost, it's often too late to repair what's been lost. This lesson is brutal because it exposes how every choice you make is a trade. Pain now or pain later, sweat or regret. The effort you resist is never as heavy as the punishment laziness delivers in the long run. And no matter how safe laziness feels in the moment, the bill always comes due, and it's always higher than you expected. Envy poisons your own progress. Envy feels like a natural reaction. You see someone with the success, beauty, or life you crave, and your heart twists with bitterness. But the brutal truth is that envy does nothing to bring you closer to what you want. Instead, it corrodes you from the inside, poisoning your focus, your joy, and your drive. While you're busy staring at someone else's lane, you stop running in your own. You trade growth for resentment, momentum for comparison, and all the while, the person you envy continues moving forward while you stand still, shackled by your own jealousy. Envy whispers lies that make the poison spread deeper. It convinces you that their success somehow diminishes yours, that the world is a zero-sum game where their win must mean your loss. It fuels quiet hatred, not because you don't want them to have it, but because you can't bear the mirror it holds up to your own stagnation. And the more you feed it, the more it blinds you to the opportunities already in front of you. The pain of envy is that it feels justified, but it's self-inflicted. The people you envy are not the ones stealing your progress. You are. Every second spent wishing for their downfall is a second stolen from your own rise. Envy doesn't hurt them. It suffocates you. It robs you of gratitude, of clarity, of peace, and the longer you carry it, the more it turns you into a shadow of who you could have been. Because the truth is simple, envy never builds, it only burns. And the first thing it burns is you. Comfort is addictive. Comfort feels safe, warm, and harmless, but it is one of the most dangerous addictions you can ever fall into. The human mind craves ease, predictability, and familiarity. Once you taste comfort, it seduces you into staying still, telling you that risk is unnecessary, that effort is optional, that tomorrow will always give you another chance. But tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year, and suddenly decades slip away while you sit in the same place, untouched by growth, unscarred by effort, but also unrewarded by progress. The danger of comfort is that it doesn't feel like poison. It feels good. It feels deserved. After all, what's wrong with rest, with safety, with staying where things don't hurt? But comfort quietly robs you of hunger, of ambition, of the fire to push into the unknown. It replaces dreams with routines, and before you know it, you're existing instead of living. What was once a temporary break becomes a permanent prison. This truth is brutal because you don't notice comfort's grip until it's too late. By the time you realize it, opportunities have passed, energy has faded, and potential has rotted into regret. Comfort whispers that you're fine where you are, but every year you stay trapped in its arms, a part of you dies. The addiction to comfort is stronger than fear, stronger than failure, because it doesn't feel like a threat. It feels like peace. But in reality, it's the quiet suffocation of everything you could have been, disguised as safety. And once it claims you, escaping it becomes the fight of your life. Most people fake confidence. Confidence looks powerful from the outside. Steady voices, straight posture, unwavering eye contact. It intimidates, it inspires, it convinces others that the person in front of them has it all figured out. But the brutal truth is that most people are faking it. Beneath the polished exterior lies doubt, fear, and insecurity they've learned to hide. People wear confidence like armor, not because they feel strong, but because they're terrified of being seen as weak. This truth stings because we compare our private chaos to everyone else's public mask. We assume others are fearless while we tremble, that they are certain while we second guess, that they belong while we feel out of place. But behind closed doors, the same people who look unshakable in public often wrestle with anxiety, shame, and self-doubt. Their confidence is often nothing more than practiced performance, a survival tactic in a world that rewards certainty and punishes hesitation. The emotional punch comes when you realize how much power you've given to illusions. You've envied people who were just as insecure as you. You've held yourself back because you assumed others had something you didn't. In truth, the difference is not that they feel braver, it's that they've learned to act braver. And that realization can cut both ways. It's sobering to know that so much of what you admire is fake, but it's also liberating. Because if confidence is often an illusion, you can create it too. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. You can step forward, shaky and uncertain, and wear the mask until it becomes real. Being right doesn't mean you'll win. We grow up believing that truth triumphs, that logic defeats lies, and that being right will naturally lead to victory. But life is far harsher. Being right doesn't mean you'll win. You can have all the facts, all the evidence, all the righteousness on your side, and still lose to someone louder, richer, more influential, or simply more cunning. The world doesn't operate on fairness. It operates on power, perception, and persuasion. This truth cuts deep because it exposes the gap between justice and reality. You can argue your case until your voice cracks, but if no one listens, your truth dies in silence. You can fight for what's fair, but if the system is stacked against you, fairness never enters the equation. History is filled with people who were right long before the world was ready to admit it. People mocked, silenced, and destroyed while the wrong thrived. The pain of this lesson comes from realizing that truth alone is not enough. Facts don't win battles by themselves. You need strategy, timing, influence, and sometimes even compromise to see your truth prevail. And even then, there are no guarantees. It's a devastating reality because it forces you to see how often victory is shaped not by who is right, but by who is willing to do what it takes to win. And though the truth may outlive lies, that doesn't mean it will save you in the moment. Being right gives you clarity, but in this world, clarity is not the same as triumph. People lie, often, One of the cruelest truths to accept is that people lie far more often than you want to believe. They lie to protect themselves, to avoid consequences, to get what they want, to look better than they are, or simply because it's easier than facing the truth. Some lies are small and seemingly harmless. I'm fine. I'll call you back. It's no big deal. Others are devastating. Promises never meant to be kept. Commitments broken without hesitation. Truths hidden that could shatter you if revealed. The reality is that deception is woven into human behavior, and pretending otherwise only sets you up for heartbreak. The sting of this lesson comes when you realize lies don't always come from enemies. They come from the people you trust most. Friends who tell you what you want to hear, partners who swear loyalty while betraying it, co-workers who promise support but plot behind closed doors. Each lie chips away at your trust until you begin questioning everything. Was that smile real? Was that promise genuine? Was that love true? Lies don't just distort reality. They warp your ability to trust your own judgment. What makes this truth so painful is how much we need honesty to feel safe. We want to believe words mean something, that people say what they mean and mean what they say. But life teaches you otherwise. People lie, often, easily, and sometimes without even realizing it. And the longer you deny it, the more devastating the betrayal feels when it finally reveals itself. Lies are not the exception. They are the rule you must learn to see through. Your potential means nothing without execution. Potential is seductive. It makes people praise you for your talent, admire your intelligence, or envy your abilities. It fills your head with visions of what you could achieve, what you might become, what your future should look like. But potential is only a shadow. It has no weight, no power, no reality until it is executed. The world doesn't reward what you are capable of. It rewards what you actually do. And the brutal truth is that graveyards are full of people who died with enormous potential, never having turned it into anything real. What makes this so painful is how comforting potential feels. It allows you to bask in the illusion of greatness without the discomfort of work. People say, "You're so gifted, you're destined for more," and you believe it, as if destiny will knock on your door without effort. But potential is perishable. Without action, it rots. Every day you postpone, every risk you avoid, every excuse you make strips away at the life you could have built. Execution is where the truth lives. It's unglamorous. It's waking up early when no one's watching. It's stumbling through failure, learning, adjusting, and trying again. It's grinding through boredom, rejection, and resistance. It's the ugly, relentless work that turns dreams into something you can touch. Potential demands nothing. Execution demands everything. The harsh reality is this: nobody will remember you for what you could have done. They'll only remember what you actually did. And until you learn to cross that bridge from possibility to reality, your potential is nothing more than an echo of the life you never lived. Blaming others keeps you stuck. Blame feels comforting. It gives you an enemy to point at, a reason for your pain, a way to explain why life hasn't turned out the way you wanted. It's easier to say it's your parents' fault, your boss's fault, your partner's fault, society's fault. And maybe sometimes you're right. They did fail you. They did hurt you. They did make life harder. But here's the brutal truth. Blame changes nothing. It may justify your anger, but it doesn't move you forward. The more you cling to it, the more you chain yourself to the very thing you hate. This truth cuts deep because blame feels like protection. If it's someone else's fault, then you don't have to face your own responsibility. You don't have to confront your choices, your patterns, your role in your own suffering. But while blame feels like a shield, it's actually a prison. It keeps you replaying the same story, the same pain, over and over again, while your life quietly slips away. The sting of this lesson is realizing that even if the pain wasn't your fault, the healing still has to be your responsibility. No one is coming to fix what they broke. No one is going to rewrite your story for you. The moment you stop pointing fingers is the moment you take your power back. Until then, you're stuck, living as a victim in a story that doesn't move forward. Blame may feel satisfying, but it robs you of growth. And if you don't let it go, it will steal your future too. You'll never have enough time for everything. No matter how disciplined, organized, or ambitious you are, there will never be enough time to do it all. The brutal truth is that life is too short, and the list of things you could do will always be longer than the years you have to live. Every choice you make comes with sacrifice. When you say yes to one thing, you are silently saying no to countless others, and those no's accumulate into lives unlived, paths unexplored, and opportunities forever lost. This truth is painful because it forces you to confront the weight of mortality. You will not read every book, travel to every country, master every skill, or love every person who could change your world. You will miss moments. You will let people down. You will leave projects unfinished. Even if you lived with perfect focus, the clock would still outrun you. The sting of this lesson comes when you realize how often you spend your limited hours on things that don't matter. Scrolling, worrying, procrastinating, drowning in obligations that steal your life 1 minute at a time. And while you waste your precious hours, the things you claim to care about sit untouched in the background, fading with each passing day. You'll never have enough time for everything, but you do have enough for what truly matters. The question is whether you'll use it with intention, or whether you'll wake up one day staring at the wreckage of wasted years, wondering how it all slipped away. Success comes with sacrifices you may not like. Everyone wants success, but few are prepared for the price it demands. The fantasy is that you can have it all: wealth, freedom, love, friendships, health, peace. But the brutal truth is that real success always comes with sacrifices, and often they are the ones you least expect or want to give. To climb higher, you will trade sleep for work, comfort for struggle, time with loved ones for hours of grind. You may lose friendships that can't withstand your ambition, relationships that can't endure your focus, or moments with family you can never get back. Success asks for pieces of your life that feel unfair to surrender, yet it takes them anyway. The sting comes when you realize it's not just about working harder, it's about choosing what to cut. Every yes to your dream is a no to something else. The late nights mean missed memories. The relentless focus means isolation. The discipline means denying yourself pleasures others indulge in freely. Success looks glamorous from the outside, but behind it is a trail of sacrifices that often leave scars. And sometimes, even when you achieve what you wanted, you look back and wonder if the trade was worth it. This lesson hurts because it dismantles the illusion that you can win without losing. Success is not free. It extracts payment in relationships, health, time, or peace. The cost varies, but it is always there. And the deeper truth is that you don't always get to choose what you sacrifice. Sometimes success demands the very things you swore you'd never give up, and you have to decide if your dream is worth the price. Some relationships expire, no matter what you do. One of the most brutal lessons in life is realizing that not all relationships are meant to last forever. You can pour love, loyalty, and effort into someone and still watch the bond dissolve. You can fight for them with everything you have and still lose them. Some relationships expire, not because of betrayal, not because of neglect, but simply because people change. Paths diverge, priorities shift, and the person you once felt inseparable from becomes a stranger standing in front of you. This truth is excruciating because it feels unfair. You replay every memory, every sacrifice, every promise, wondering how something so strong could fade into nothing. You try harder, give more, cling tighter, convinced you can stop the unraveling if only you don't let go. But no amount of love can stop time from pulling people in different directions. And sometimes the harder you fight to keep what's slipping away, the more painful the break becomes. What makes this lesson so haunting is how powerless it leaves you. You realize that love is not always enough, that shared history doesn't guarantee a shared future, that even soul-deep connections can reach their natural end no matter how desperately you wish otherwise. And you are left standing in the wreckage, forced to accept that not every goodbye comes with closure, not every ending comes with explanation. The hardest part is learning to let go without resentment, to honor what once was without destroying yourself, trying to keep it alive. Because some relationships, no matter how much they mean, are only chapters, not the whole story. What you tolerate is what you'll get. Life has a cruel way of giving you exactly what you're willing to accept. Every time you let someone disrespect you without consequence, you teach them that their behavior is allowed. Every time you swallow mistreatment in silence, you show the world that you value peace over dignity. What you tolerate becomes the standard, and once that line is drawn, people rarely rise above it. They sink to it. This truth is painful because tolerance often feels like patience, like love, like sacrifice. You tell yourself you're being understanding, that things will change, that enduring a little more will prove your worth. But tolerance is a double-edged sword. While it spares you conflict in the moment, it slowly erodes your self-respect. The longer you allow it, the harder it becomes to demand anything better. You don't just tolerate others, you train yourself to settle for less. The sting comes later, when resentment builds. You look around at the disrespect, the broken boundaries, the endless disappointment, and wonder why life keeps dealing you the same pain. But the answer is brutal. It's because you allowed it. You accepted it. You stayed silent when you should have spoken, and the world simply mirrored back the standard you set for yourself. The reality is people will always push as far as you let them. They will take, test, and stretch until you enforce a boundary. If you tolerate lies, you'll be lied to. If you tolerate disrespect, you'll be disrespected. And until you demand more, you'll keep getting less. Because life doesn't hand you the respect you want. It hands you the respect you're willing to enforce. People project their insecurities onto you. So often, the criticism you hear, the judgment you feel, and the negativity directed toward you has little to do with who you are, and everything to do with the insecurities of the person delivering it. People see in you what they fear in themselves. They point out flaws they secretly battle. They mock ambitions they were too afraid to chase. They resent strengths that remind them of their own weaknesses. What they throw at you is not a reflection of your truth. It's a mirror of their pain. This truth cuts deep because it feels personal. When someone belittles you, doubts you, or shames you, it feels like proof that you aren't enough. You carry their words like chains, replaying them until you begin to believe them. But the sting is realizing those words were never about you. They were about them. Their wounds bleed into how they see the world, and you became the target. It doesn't excuse the cruelty, but it explains why it stings so much. You thought they were showing you your reflection, when in reality, they were only revealing their own. The painful part is that projections can be so convincing, you start to confuse them for reality. You let other people's fears shrink your confidence, their jealousy poison your victories, their doubts sabotage your dreams. But when you finally recognize projection for what it is, something inside you shifts. You stop carrying their insecurities as if they are your own. And though their words may still cut, you no longer bleed for them, because you know the wound was never yours to begin with. The world doesn't slow down when you're tired. Exhaustion doesn't grant you mercy. Fatigue doesn't earn you sympathy. The world keeps spinning, relentless no matter how drained, broken, or overwhelmed you feel. Deadlines don't vanish because you need rest. Bills don't pause because you're burned out. Responsibilities don't fade just because your body and mind are screaming for relief. The brutal truth is that the world doesn't slow down when you're tired. It demands the same from you regardless of how much strength you have left to give. This lesson cuts deep because tiredness feels like it should matter. You believe there should be understanding, that others will recognize your limits, that life itself will wait for you to recover. But it doesn't. Life is merciless. While you stumble, someone else is sprinting. While you collapse, the world moves forward without you, and it won't stop to see if you catch up. What makes this truth so painful is the crushing weight of knowing that your exhaustion doesn't excuse you from consequences. If you give up, the work still piles higher. If you withdraw, opportunities still vanish. If you fall behind, someone else takes your place. You can cry, scream, or collapse, but the world remains indifferent. And yet, hidden in this merciless reality is a savage reminder of urgency. If you want to survive, if you want to thrive, you must learn how to keep moving even when you're tired. Rest when you can, fight when you must, but never expect the world to wait for you. It never will. Being alone is better than being with the wrong people. Loneliness can feel unbearable, and in that ache for connection, people often settle for relationships that drain them instead of nurture them. But the brutal truth is that being alone is far better than surrounding yourself with the wrong people. The wrong people disguise themselves as friends, lovers, even family, but instead of lifting you, they suffocate you. They belittle your dreams, dismiss your feelings, exploit your kindness, and chain you to cycles of disappointment. You think their presence will ease your loneliness, but in reality, their presence only deepens it, leaving you feeling emptier than if you had been alone. The sting comes from realizing how much damage the wrong people can cause. They can warp the way you see yourself, convincing you that you're less capable, less deserving, less worthy than you truly are. They can sabotage your growth because your light threatens them. They can strip away your peace, replacing it with chaos that leaves you exhausted and broken. And yet, many endure this torment out of fear of solitude, clinging to relationships that are slowly killing them because silence feels scarier than suffering. But the truth is that solitude is not the enemy. Wrong people are. Being alone gives you space to breathe, to heal, to rebuild yourself without someone's negativity weighing on your spirit. It gives you the freedom to discover who you are without distortion. The pain of isolation is temporary, but the damage of staying with the wrong people can last a lifetime. Walking alone